I'm going to read a tweet from Jeff Stein, who's an economic reporter from the Washington Post, who was, I believe, live tweeting Trump's presentation yesterday. This goes to what Jonah was saying at the outset of the podcast. Trump says that the U.S. was proportionally the richest it ever was in the late 1880s and early 1900s, before 1913 establishing the federal income tax, quote, for reasons unknown to mankind, unquote, which he then says led to the Great Depression crash, which, quote, would never have happened if they stayed with the tariff policy, unquote. And in response to that, Phil Magnus, who Jonah had mentioned earlier from the Independent Institute, wrote, every word of Trump's claim is false. I literally did my doctorate on this exact question and period of history. 19th century tariffs were a corrupt and economically harmful mess. The income tax was adopted to escape the tariff trap, and Smoot-Hawley worsened the Depression. They're just making stuff up across the board. And again, as Jonah says, like, a lot of this stuff is checkable. Like, you can go back and, it's math. It's not, it's 2 + 2 doesn't equal 78. And on the politics of this, this is another area where I think we're seeing just the culture of lies in Washington around these debates and around this president. I think this president, he didn't create it, but he made it much more pervasive. There was a vote in the Senate last night about blocking Trump's tariffs on Canada. And it went down, I believe it was 51-48, if I've got my numbers correct, which included 4 Republicans voting with Democrats to block the president from imposing, basically what ended Trump's Canada tariffs. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, and Mitch McConnell. I can tell you without fear of contradiction that many, many, many more Republicans agree with those 4 Republicans who voted to stop Trump's tariffs. If we could take the Republican Senate conference in a blind vote and ask them if they agree with those tariffs and if they agree with the president's trade agenda, easily more than half of the Republicans in the Senate would vote against Trump. Easily. And none of them are standing up. They're bystanders. Not only have they given up, has Congress given up its ability to actually, impose tariffs, to create this to end the president's authority on these taxes. They're pretending they're bystanders and they're helpless here, that they have no say. And rather than oppose the president on issues that some of these senators know will devastate industries in their state, they're just going along with the president because they're cowards. It's not the first time we've seen it, I have to say, but it's pretty stunning in this moment at this time, given the reaction that we've already seen from markets and from the business.